Deep in the heart of southeast Pennsylvania farmland lives a group of German descendants called the Amish people. Well known for their religious convictions that prohibit them from using modern technology such as electricity and gas powered vehicles, the Amish's horse powered buggies and powerless houses, buried in tall crops, serve tourists as a timepiece to a slower, simpler era. However, also nestled in this Pennsylvania Dutch country is a roster of machines with much more complicated mechanics. Enter the Strasburg Rail Road, the oldest continuously operating railroad in North America. Chartered to serve the local towns in 1832 and going from near abandonment to tourism in 1957, the Strasburg uses locomotives, buildings, and passenger cars from the early 1900s, as well as many other artifacts to set the scene of a quintessential steam train ride through American farmland. A dedicated crew of paid employees keeps these locomotives running, and we will see their full efforts today in this video. Presenting the Strasburg Railroad Timepiece. Our adventure begins with the shop tour. Due to contract obligations, photos aren't allowed in the actual shop, but our tour guide was very welcoming and answered any question in good detail. We then visited the engine house. Since all equipment in there is Strasburg owned, photos were allowed. We even witnessed a kidnapping. But seriously, the tour was very intriguing, there was lots to be learned, I would definitely recommend it. Today, Norfolk and Western M Class number 475 would take center stage at the railroad. You may have noticed in the previous photograph that 475 had some strange marks on its smoke box. These are from an incident in 2022 where it ran into an excavator parked on the track on a siding at Lemon Place. Locomotive's headlamp was subsequently replaced and its smoke box door welded together, with overall repairs taking only an impressive 4 days. The weld marks were not flattened as a reminder for crews to be more aware of the surroundings. Some fans have now nicknamed the 118-year-old engine Scarface because of this. 475 was retired from revenue service in 1959 after many years of hauling freight on both the main and branch lines of the N&W. She was shipped around between owners before ending up at the SRC in 1991. She was restored to operational condition in 1993 and has served the road with pride ever since. Although this 1906 Baldwin baby has previously been seen as a co-star on our channel, alongside Strasburg number 90 or Norfolk and Western 611, today she is in charge of the hourly excursion service and she puts on a great show. But first, let's watch as 475 runs around and couples up to the train, where unfortunately a silly passenger would walk in front of my camera twice. It's quite frustrating.
Grandpa, they're coming with you.
We would ride in style today, once again sitting in first-class lounge car number 118, Lynn W. Modinger, named for the Strasburg's longest-serving president. Built by American Car and Foundry Company in 1911 for the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, this luxury passenger car served the people well until retirement in the 1950s. It would make its way to tourists at the Wanamaker, Kempton, and Southern Railroad, also in Pennsylvania, before ending up at the Road to Paradise in 1990. After years of storage, restoration began in 2015, and it returned to service 3 years later in 2018. Ready for all new adventures like the one we'll have today. Soon enough, it was time for the train to depart. All aboard! While 475 is known for its classic Norfolk and Western 8-inch single-chime whistle, or occasionally the 12-inch hooter, for the last 2 years or so, it has worn a Southern Pacific 6-chime, bringing a unique Western melody to this Northeastern railroad. Now here we go, climbing out of Groundhog Cut and whistling into the town of Cherry Hill. Population 17, more or less, as in a whole lot more when we come in, and a whole lot less once we leave. But nonetheless, we'll see old 475 working hard as clouds of smoke and steam pour from her funnel into the cloudy air. After that, it would be time for the infamous ghost whistle at Black Horse Road.
Sounds like that ghost is out there today. However, I'm a little disappointed. I think I heard someone said that was an echo. No, that is not an echo. Speaking of Strasburg Graveyard, coming up ahead and off to the left is anyone. Our board at the graveyard. Up on the hill in that graveyard, one of the old selection houses, Enemy Bird 3. That French Huguenot fled France in the early 1700s to escape religious persecution. She and her followers fled France and England and obtained a land grant for 2.5 miles of land by William Penn. And then they finally arrived here in 1712. Now, folks, it was made in a colony, Paradise. Now, back then, it's almost 300 years ago, this was the American frontier.
After a few more minutes, we would arrive at Lehman Place Junction in Paradise, Pennsylvania, where we would see the 475 run around and couple on to the front of its train, but not before getting a visitor from a modern friend on the main line. Once 475 coupled on, it was time to head back, and we would see her march through Cherry Hill once more. Making it back to East Strasburg with no incident, it was time to get out on the tracks for some rail fanning, where the crew, Dan and Dylan, would go to work on this overcast day, helping to paint the picture of this American timepiece. We started by watching 475 depart with the 2 o'clock service, then return later on at Fairview Road. I'll be quiet now so we can sit back, see the sights, and hear the sounds of raw American steam power. When waiting for 475 to return with the 3 o'clock service, we were surprised to see not a steamer, but Strasburg's resident diesel switcher, ex New York Central number 8618, a 1952 General Motors build, return home light engine after dropping off some freight at the interchange. But it wouldn't be long before today's star thundered through with the passengers.
Oh, hanging up right there.
Before we left Strasbourg for the day, we returned to the property of the Red Caboose Motel to look at the petting zoo and take a horse and buggy ride. Harmless. But we would end up beating the train back to the location, and so we were able to get one more shot of 475 rolling on by before the trip's end. And that's the end of our journey. We hope you enjoyed our adventure through Strasburg Railroad. Timepiece.